I'm going to share 5 personal finance tips that changed my life and made me a millionaire. The first tip is the 50-40-10 rule. The 50-40-10 rule is a little adjustment I made to the popular 50-30-20 rule on budgeting, and I'm going to break down that ratio for you. 50% of your income or less is going to go to your essential living expenses. This is rent, mortgage, gas, groceries, etc. Then 40% of your income is going to go towards paying off debt and building an emergency savings fund. Once you have all your debts paid off and you have an emergency savings of 3 months of living expenses, this 40% shifts to investing. This can be in a 401k, in stocks, in real estate, in a side hustle or a different business, but it has to go towards something that's going to grow your wealth in the future. Lastly, the last 10% of your income is for leisure, going out, entertainment, etc. Also, this 50-40-10 rule applies to your income after taxes. This is your take-home income, not your gross income. Budgeting and living within your means is a very powerful tool to help you get financial freedom, especially early on when you're young and starting out. This then brings me to my second tip. Increasing income is going to be easier and more beneficial than decreasing expenses. There's always going to be a baseline minimum of money you need to live and survive. Your necessities, rent, food, bills, etc. You can't ever really go below that because you have to have somewhere to live, food on the table, and pay your bills. So what you need to do instead is increase your income. With inflation over the past few years, having house prices, rent, gas, groceries, everything shoot up, you can't control that, and you need those things to live, so you might as well increase your income to offset any increases in expenses. I'm not saying being frugal is not important. It definitely is, especially when you're starting out, but you can't only focus on saving money, but rather spend 80% of your time trying to make more money and then spend the other 20% on trying to be frugal and saving money. If you really want to be financially free and really grow your net worth exponentially, you have to find ways to scale your income up. Your time is better spent increasing your marketable skills and values than trying to save money. In your free time, you need to be learning new and scalable skills that are useful in the real world marketplace in business. And you also need to make sure you pick a vehicle that has the potential of scalable growth. You don't want something that's a stagnant, linear growth. You want something that can really blow up and make a lot of money. First, you want to start by reading books or learning in general to start understanding different businesses. Increasing your knowledge base, if you combine that with situational awareness, you can recognize when opportunities arise and jump on them early to capitalize on these opportunities. This is the formula that produces that whole luck that creates wealth. It's really just preparation meets opportunity, and you're prepared for an opportunity when it comes up. If you're in quite a lot of debt and you just need money now, then you just have to take on a second job. When I was in college, I was working a full-time internship, 40 hours a week, and I was still waiting tables on nights and weekends to increase my income. Fast forward this to when I started working my full-time job out of college, I was still looking for a side hustle to build on my nights and weekends. This led me to start investing into real estate, and I poured almost the same amount of time, 40 hours a week in real estate, but on weekends and nights, and I'm still doing 40 hours of the day job. A great way to do both at the same time of increasing your income and decreasing your expenses is the house hack. House hacking is when you buy a duplex, triplex, or fourplex, and you live in one of the units and you rent the other ones out to get some money. Or you can do what I did, is buy a larger house and rent out the rooms out individually. I bought a 4-bed, 2-bath house that was a fixer-upper, and I renovated it so I was all in less than market value. And then I stayed in the master bedroom for myself. I turned the smallest bedroom into the home office where I could use it as a tax deduction. And the other 2 rooms, I rented out for $500 a month. That extra $1,000 a month covered my mortgage, taxes, and property insurance on that property, essentially allowing me to live for free or just paying the utility bills. The third tip, or the third lesson, is you need to have an excellent credit score. If you don't have excellent credit, it's going to end up paying more for almost everything. A mortgage, a car loan, credit card interest, anything that requires borrowing money, you're going to end up paying more because of interest if you don't have an excellent credit score. Especially if you're going to go into building your own business, at some point you're probably going to need to borrow money, especially from a bank, and they're going to look at your credit score, and it's really going to affect if you can get the loans or not. Now, ideally, you want a credit score over 800, but anything over 740 is really good enough. If you currently don't have a credit score over 740, here are some things you can do immediately to help increase your score. One is pay your bills on time. That's probably the single most important thing you can do to raise your credit score, is just to pay all your credit card bills and other debt bills on time. 2 is to keep your credit utilization low. So if you have a credit limit on all your credit cards at $5,000, you want to keep your usage on those credit cards under 10%. So no more than $500 being charged to the credit card. And then you still want to pay it off in full every month so you're not paying interest. You also want to start building credit as early as possible. Once you turn 18, you should be starting to do things that help you build your credit, like being added to as an authorized user to someone that has a long credit history and has a good credit score. And the next thing you can do is diversify your credit. So there's two types of credit. There's installment credit and revolving credit. Now, revolving credit is like your typical credit card. You can charge money on it, pay it off, use it again, right? And the amount you pay every month just depends on how much you use. And then there's also installment credit. These are fixed payments every month. That's like a mortgage, a car loan, student loans. You're paying the same amount each month on the loan. In order to achieve excellent credit score, you need to have a mix of both installment credit and revolving credit. A lot of people just have credit cards and they don't have a mortgage, a car loan, or student loans, and they think they're doing financially great, which they are, but in terms of credit score, you're not going to get the best score because you don't have a diversified mix of credit. You can't show lenders that you're responsible enough of different types of credit that you'll always pay it back. Those are just some tips and ideas on how to fix your credit or raise your credit. If you want a full breakdown on credit repair, check out my video on how to fix a bad credit score fast. And once you raise your credit score to an excellent level or above, you can apply my fourth lesson, which is learning how to take advantage of credit cards. The best travel rewards and points credit cards all require excellent credit to be approved. Once you're out of debt and you have your credit score up, you want to put all your spending on these credit cards so you can earn points. Of course, you still want to pay off your credit card in full every month, and you don't want to be spending more than you normally would spend just because it's a credit card or it's earning points. That will defeat the whole purpose of trying to game and take advantage of the credit card companies if you're paying high interest to them and you're not paying off your balance every month or you're spending more than you normally would. The only time you don't want to pay off something with a credit card is if they charge an extra fee to use it. Most companies will charge like a 3% fee if you pay a credit card versus cash or check. In those cases, you don't really want to pay off a credit card because that 3% fee doesn't make it worth it. I recommend either the Chase Sapphire Preferred credit card or the American Express Platinum or Gold credit cards. These credit cards earn points that are highly flexible. It can be transferred to many airlines and hotel partners to book free award travel. Once you have over 100,000 points, which is very doable off just one credit card sign-up bonus, you can start booking free luxury flights or hotels. For example, I was able to book this luxury Emirates first class flight that normally costs $11,000 one way with just 85,000 points. And that brings you to my fifth lesson. Value experiences over materialistic things. That Emirates first class flight was such a crazy, luxurious in-flight experience that I'm never gonna forget it. And the best thing is I didn't go in debt to pay for the flight. I was able to utilize my previous lessons of having a good credit score and credit card points to experience it. When we buy something new, we just get a temporary high. That luxury car, that luxury watch, that designer bag is just gonna make us temporarily happy or high for a few days or a few weeks, but none of it will bring us long-lasting fulfillment, and it ends up being a big expense to our wallet. There's really nothing materialistically that I bought 10 years ago that really has any significant value or memories or meaning to me to this day. Yes, I had a car because I had a commute, etc., but nothing really just stood out, right? No materialistic items. But I took a trip 10 years ago with my two best friends to Thailand and Cambodia, and the memories from that trip still stick with me to this day. The trips I take my family on for vacations are moments that I'll cherish forever. Experiences also nurture connections and relationships, both of which are very important to human satisfaction and happiness. Think about the bonds you form and share with someone in these moments and these experiences that connect you guys forever. These connections are what life is truly about. Studies consistently show that those who prioritize experiences over materialistic things often have more satisfying and fulfilling lives. They experience a more deeper, profound sense of happiness that isn't subject to the ups and downs of materialistic items. Even on social media, you're starting to see this trend of millennials prioritizing travel and experiences over luxury goods. And just from a utility and personal finance perspective, experiences like that provide you more value for your money as it brings you more happiness and more fulfilling happiness and joy versus materialistic items that you purchase. So to recap, my 5 life-changing personal lessons are 1, the 50-40-10 rule, 2, focusing on increasing your income over decreasing your expenses, 3, having an excellent credit score, 4, using that excellent credit score to take advantage of credit card, and 5, prioritizing experiences over materialistic items. If you guys found value in this video, please like the video and subscribe to the channel for more personal finance and travel hacking content.